Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Blake Damon here with another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'll be building in San Myshuno. I'm never sure how to say that name. On the lot called the Old Salt House. As you can see, this isn't a renovation because I just bulldozed the lot that was there. It wasn't that great anyway. This is a tier 3 tiny home which is under 100 tiles. So if you have the tiny living pack, you'll have the lot perks of lighten the load and feeling fine all the time. The packs that I used for this build, there are only two. They are City Living and the new Industrial Loft Kit. So if you have those two packs, nothing should disappear if you download this build. Yes, the infamous Industrial Loft Kit. There's been a lot of hate about it on Twitter. But then again, when isn't there any hate on anything on Twitter? People are saying that the items in the kit look exactly the same as the items already in the catalog. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that in this video, but if you want my perspective, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make a whole video on it. Now, apparently the Industrial Loft Kit was inspired by New York loft apartments. I had no idea what they were. I mean, I know what an apartment is and I know what a loft is, but together? I don't know. Fortunately, Wiki, via Google, knows all. According to Wiki, loft apartments used to be industrial buildings. Basically, factories and warehouses that were repurposed into residential apartments. Like in the meatpacking industry, for example, in New York, which was rezoned into a residential area. Which is why I'm building this warehouse-looking thing. Well, at least I hope it looks like a warehouse. Whenever I think of New York, I think of this series called Friends. Everyone always seems so sociable and extroverted. Personally sounds exhausting to me. So I filled the living room with as much seating as I could. That way everyone can chat and drink and sit around and do whatever extroverts do to each other. I don't know. I was actually looking for a two-seater to fill the empty space at the bottom there by the wall. Unfortunately, the kit didn't have any two-seater sofas. Luckily, I found the Unabashed Love Seat. It's base game and looks so well with the industrial style. I really love this new rug. I have a thing for shaggy rugs. I actually wanted one for my home in real life, but they're just too hard to keep clean. And this rug size is perfect. It fits really well in all the rooms in the building. When I was planning this build, the place looked too drab with all the brown furniture, brown walls, the brown floor. So I was craving some color. And so the yellow feature wall was born. I really like how I made the yellow feature wall cross through all the same walls in all the rooms throughout the building for continuity. It really ties all the different rooms together. I really like these pipes that you can find in the City Living pack. You can stick them on the walls. I thought adding them to the walls on this build really made the build look more factory-esque or former factory-esque, which adds to the authenticity of this build. These counters that I used in the kitchen are my absolutely favorite counters in the whole entire game. They're base game and I absolutely love them. And a special bonus is that they go so well with the industrial style. Since I'd gone with the yellow feature wall, I decided to continue to make yellow the spot color in all the rooms. For continuity, of course. I really like using yellow as the spot color. It's very bright, it's a happy color, and it also reminds me of my partner. It also pops against the brown and the orange without it looking out of place. The new table and the matching bar stools are so nice. I actually made sure that the bar table and the windows are all in line. I think it'd be really nice to look out of the window while eating. The foyer was pretty easy, it's pretty small, so it was pretty easy to fill. I filled it with the usual stuff that I'd like to find in my foyer. Just a place to put my coat, my accessories, my bags. You know, when I was planning this build, I totally forgot to build the bathroom. Whoops. And this is why I can't do builds in one day. No, I'll forget things. I will. I really like using the shower bathtub combo. That way your sim can take a bath or a shower without it taking extra space. It was actually so weird having like 6 tiles to use in the bathroom. I almost didn't know what to do with all this space. I was like, wait, I can put in a bathtub and a sink? What is this sorcery? Before we continue, if you haven't already, do yourself a favor and like and subscribe to this channel, please. Anyway, what was I up to? Since this build was supposed to be a loft apartment, I decided to make a loft. Surprised? I hope not. So I made a second story and I made it accessible via a ladder. I freaking love ladders. I literally don't know what I'd do without them. I made sure for this build that the bedroom was spacious because I was determined to use the new industrial 4-poster bed. Double beds and tiny builds do not go hand in hand, but everything managed to fit rather nicely without too much agonizing over, which was nice. I even managed to include a whole desk with a computer in there as well. What is this sorcery? You know, I totally forgot to light the living room. I only noticed when I was lighting the bedroom and saw the black hole that was supposed to be the living room. I had a little bit of difficulty aligning the light with the loft ceiling. For some reason, it kept snapping into the second floor for some reason. Very annoying. Another show I thought of when I think of New York is How I Met Your Mother. I'm actually not sure if it was set in New York, but I think it is. Anyway, in some episodes, they'd have these parties up in the rooftop. So I wanted that for my little socialite sim. And I made them this rooftop area where they could host barbecues. Aren't I nice? But I also wanted to make the roof look like the roof of an industrial building. So I had to take some space to add in the air conditioning stuff. I added 2. I had to do that before I added in the picnic table and the barbecue. And that's when I remembered the air conditioning ducts that came with the industrial loft kit. I totally forgot about them and I only remembered when I was like putting in the air conditioning stuff in the rooftop. I think it was a case of out of sight, out of mind. I don't often look at the ceiling fan section in the decorations. I actually don't remember the last time I used a ceiling fan in a build. It might have happened, but I don't remember it ever happening. Now I'm just doing some final touches to the build, trying to make sure that all the inside is all done and that I haven't stupidly forgotten anything before moving on. I didn't know how to landscape an industrial build. I was thinking concrete, but then I hated it. I felt like maybe after the building was transformed from an industrial build to a residential, they'd have changed all the concrete into grass.
I don't know.
I know I would because concrete sucks. Anyway, the final landscaping, if you could call it that, ended up being really, really simple. I ended up just fencing the lot, well, walling it off more accurately. And I used the new doors to gate the property. I also included a driveway in the back with a garage door where deliveries would usually be accepted in these sorts of industrial buildings. It took me a while to get there to where I was finally satisfied with the outside. So I won't bore you with every indecisive decision I made, just sped up. You can check how it all turned out in the flybys anyway. Speaking of flybys, here they are. All in all, I'm pretty satisfied with the building. I'm not totally convinced with the landscaping, despite the use of my beloved debug. But I figured you guys could probably use the space outside however you want when you download it. Oh, the link to download the build will be in the description down below. Let me know in the comments how you would have landscaped the outside. I'm interested to know. I had no ideas. As for the inside of the build, I really love it. It's so clean and tidy and warm. I really love my feature wall and how it takes up the same wall, whichever room you go to. I think my favorite room has got to be the kitchen. I love that I got to use my favorite counters. Yay! And how well those counters actually went with the new kit, like in style. It's like a match made in heaven. The last flyby was quite pretty despite all the rain. Anyway, I hope you guys were inspired by this build and make your own industrial loft apartment. I'm sure you can do it without having to buy the industrial loft kit. You guys are amazing. You know, all this rain kind of reminds me of another build that I did in the rain. Check out the old church and tell me what you think.